Okay guys, so we're going to continue with information about soil conservation. And we're going to start with reduced soil fertility may result in some different problems. So we have a soil that is being affected, right? So which are the problems of this? Soil erosion, toxification of soil, salinization and desertification. In the last video, we checked some of the problems that are causing the loss of soil fertility, but what happened after that? Okay, movement of soil, especially surface litter and topsoil, is caused by wind and flowing water. As we can see here, those are some pictures showing the examples. Then we have this problem that is called sheet wash, that is large areas of surface soil are washed away during heavy rain. Can include landslides. That is a problem that causes soil erosion. We have another one that is gulling. Channels develop on hillsides following rainfall. Over time they get deeper and deeper and plants cannot grow there and we have no vegetation. That is another problem that is caused by rainfall. We have wind erosion. Drier soils have the top layers consistently removed, as you can see in the picture. So all the organic matter, all microorganisms are affected by that. In this picture, we can see global soil erosion and the different patches that are classified in very high severity, moderate severity, low severity, and stable one, ice cap or non-use wasteland. So as you can see in Ecuador, we have a green, so low severity. We are a country that is not suffering of soil erosion. That is again, those are good news. But we have countries like, let me check, very high severity in Central America. We have countries with those problems, or high severity, as you can see, Peru, Chile, some parts in Brazil. Brazil has many different patches around. So that is the problem with soil erosion, okay? Then we have examples of unsustainable techniques that cause soil erosion in soil. Complete removal of crops after harvest that cause soil erosion because there are not organic matter left to recover soil. Growing crops with barren soil between rows that cause soil erosion. Plowing in direction of flood that creates channels in soil, that is another problem. Overuse of pesticides that causes toxification. Overuse of chemical fertilizers that causes eutrophication. Irrigation methods, salinization when we have too much salt in soil. Monocropping, nutrient depletion. And overcropping, nutrient depletion. Okay, overcropping means that we are using too much plants in one section or we're taking too much of these plants from soil. This is another case study, China's Yangtze River at the Three Gorges in Hubei province. Okay, you can see the sediment-rich water. That is a problem that also causes a water problem that causes problems in soil that is close to the land, to these coastal areas. Irrigation water contains small amounts of dissolved salts. Evaporation leaves the salts behind and salts build up in the soil, as you can see in these pictures. So that is another problem. Extra salinization in soil doesn't allow the growth of plants. The United Nations predicts over 50 million people will be forced to leave their homes by 2020 because their land has turned to the desert. Alain Sabori, ecologist, a philosopher, is the originator of the compelling and in some quarters deeply controversial theory that argues that everything we know about maintaining natural landscapes is wrong. Instead of fearing overgrazing and taking livestock off land to rest it, he argues that most grazing lands should have more livestock added because their movement and their waste and their relentless chopping stimulate grasses to grow. What do you think about that? Do you think that is true or not? And then we have the solutions to preserve soil, to improve soil. So we have the environmental problems, what are the impacts, the environmental impacts, and now we're going to see the solutions, right? Soil conservation measures include soil conditioners, when you add organic materials, lime to soil to recover, wind reduction techniques, wind breaks, shelter builds that can be constructed to avoid wind to cause wind erosion, cultivation techniques, terracing, contour plugging, strip cultivation, and avoiding the use of marginal lands. Okay, so conditioners, they improve the quality of soils and therefore produce higher yields. Composting, the addition of compost, humus, is a human process that mimics the natural nutrient cycle and disturb land. Compost increases soil surface area, thus improving water retention and also adding microorganisms. Then we have wind reduction techniques, in this case wind breaks or shelter belts that are constructed with plants. That way wind is not going to affect the soil, as you can see. We have a barrier of trees, dominant trees, different trees, and they're going to protect the crops. That is the main idea in this example of constructing shelter belts or wind breaks. Then we have another one that is called terracing, contour plugging, strip cultivation. That is the way in which the soil is managed. And as you can see, we have these terraces. And reduces soil erosion by controlling water runoff by holding water at each level. So water is not going to affect the soil, wind is not going to affect the soil, and then can cultivate whatever they are growing there. Then we have another solution that is contour plugging. So it's like this contour, different like sections. It slows the horizontal movement of water by creating mini terraces. We have the same. So they reduce soil erosion, controlling water runoff, and avoiding erosion. That is the main problem, and those are the main solutions to that. Okay, thank you guys. So we're going to work later in class. See you then.